It is episode 300, y'all. The Late Night Vision Show. We are back fresh off of SHOT Show 2024. We've got a lot of good things to talk about today. I know this is a big episode 300. Typically in the past, we've done, with episode 100 and 200, we dedicated a lot of time to celebrating ourselves, and there's nothing more that I love to do is to pat myself on the back. I'll tell you that right now. And Jason's laughing because he knows it's true. And I love when he pats me on the back, when we're talking about doing a good job. So we're going to mix in some fun stuff. We got some stuff at the end of the show. We're going to be making fun of ourselves, talking about episode 300, kind of doing some flashback. But before we do that, we've got a lot of information to deliver about SHOT Show, a new product, and also a very, very big announcement to help me do it. My day one, what do they say? I hate saying ride or die. That sounds so stupid.
But can you edit that out?
Yeah. But my number one from day one, I guess, Jason Robertson, owner of Outdoor Legacy. Man, we skipped around Las Vegas all week, and my wife was like, the wives always go with us, Jason, and my wife, she said, this year I saw you less than I think I've seen you the whole time you've been going out there and doing this. And she's like, y'all are busy. And man, let me tell you, I'm still trying to catch up on my sleep. And it's been a few days since we've been back.
It's funny that we go out there and we're there a long time. There's a lot of businesses that go out there and they're only there for 24, 48 hours, 72 at most. And I get it. I mean, I completely understand why. You're trying to run a business. Thankfully, we've got Michaela and Angela and Jessica, and we had Ashley here doing sales this year. So we had 4 people back here doing really, really hard work while we were out there. But it definitely was not much play at all. Normally it's kind of one of those things where we can work really hard during the day and, go out in the evenings, have some fun. And we did a little bit of that, but we had a lot of business dinners to go to. And even though it's fun, it's enjoyable, you're still working, you're still talking about, all the stuff that's going on business wise and planning. And so it is true. I think this year was just absolutely nonstop work. It feels like we got very, very little other done. And, we were there. Well, Amanda and I went out there, so we were there 5 nights. And so obviously the first night was not business. The next, that Monday that we were there, the show wasn't going on, but we were working all day and getting ready for you to be coming in. And so it's just a lot of work. It really is, but it is fun. We do enjoy it. It's fun getting to get out there and see everybody after a year. And, thankfully, kind of where we're at in the business now, most everything we've already had our hands on, which is really a blessing. And it's nice. So that way, when we're now coming back and, talking to you as end users about this stuff and selling it, it's not just, we didn't just get to see it at SHOT Show. Most of the time we've actually had it in our hands, had it out in the field for days or weeks or sometimes months in advance. And that's really a blessing. It's really nice. We appreciate the manufacturers taking care of us in that regard because it does help us. So Hans, I mean, we do. We have a big announcement that's a big deal for us. So we kind of want you to break a little news here.
So there's been a lot of talk recently regarding Rix, the brand, the thermal scope, night vision scope brand, going back to last summer. And so a lot of people want to know what's the deal with it, what's going on with it. Why don't y'all talk about it? Jason, what is the deal with Rix?
So Rix has been around now since last year at some point. And from day one, there was a lot of questions from people and this is true of every new brand name that pops up. Hey guys, when are y'all going to review this scope? When are y'all going to carry this scope? Why are you not selling the scope? Can you tell me about this scope? And can you tell me about this brand? And Hans and I, we can't talk about everything we always know, okay? And we're not trying to be secret squirrels here and act like we're more important than we are. But there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we don't talk about on the show. We can't talk about on the show. There's a lot of companies that that are out there that come to us and say, hey, will you test our stuff? Will you sell our stuff? Will you review our stuff? All these
Oh,
things.
you know, you and I were walking around Las Vegas SHOT Show, and we had people
Multiple
running us
people.
down as we are walking around the show, you know, showing us scopes. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
like
and
literally in their backpack. Like, hey,
yeah,
I've got this in my backpack. You know, will you come look at this? You know, you want to talk about this on your show? We got had another
yeah.
guy
So
that
although
literally
Rick,
chased us down. We did like, what's this guy running behind us? It's like,
exactly.
hey, I know who you are. I want you to look at these scopes, and yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. So
And
although a lot of you may know the Rick's brand, and there's some of you that have this may be the first time you've heard the name Rick's. There's so many companies out there that we are trying to weed through, I guess, a little bit to see,
yeah, I think
you know,
so.
what's going to rise up.
So there's brands, guys. They come and they go, and some of them make a splash, some of them make no splash, some of them never get off the ground, some of them get off the ground, sell some scopes, and they disappear. And so just because it's new, just because it's shiny, and just because it's cheaper doesn't mean, not only does it not mean it's better, it actually is red flags. I mean, that's what it is. When it's something that you don't know anything about, and you know it's the equivalent of the guy, you know, with the van saying free candy over here, you better be concerned. And so anytime there's somebody new, a new company, a new scope, we're concerned. And here's what we're concerned about. What Hans and I've done on this show for 300 shows. It's what I've done at Outdoor Legacy. This is our at least 11th year. I'd have to go do some math. Yeah, I think it's 11th year. Always tried to bring quality brands with quality optics. We don't always sell. We don't ever sell, I think, every
Yeah.
single optic that brand has, whatever that brand is. You name the brand, we don't sell every single one of their optics. We pick and choose. We cherry pick the line of what we think is the best value, and what have you. And so, with that said, when something new and shiny comes along, we can't be the early adopters. Now, we may be testing, we may be asking questions, we may be investigating, we may be having discussions, we may be talking to other dealers who are the first guys out there to pick them up, and we may be talking to end users who are the first people. But what we don't want is our customers at Outdoor Legacy being guinea pigs. Okay. You know, if another dealer wants to do that, that's his business. But we've got our livelihood, our reputation, and our name on the line. So if something happens down the road, it's not because we didn't do our due diligence. Okay. You know, Fleer, who was one of the biggest, what was it? No, we're not one of, we're the biggest name in thermal, period, literally closed their doors to their hunting division on a Friday at 5 p.m. a week before a SHOT Show, and basically rookie doo to everybody, including their warranty. This was a Fortune 500 company that sold for billions of dollars to Teledyne. So what I'm making, the point is, anything can happen at any time. But we want to know that we're doing business and recommending businesses to you that are legit. And that's what we've been doing, is kind of waiting out rigs. We wanted to know more about them. We want to see, where are these scopes coming from? Yes, they have an office in Texas. So does every other thermal manufacturer. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, you know, there's plenty of office space in Texas. You know, what does that mean? You know, yeah, the scopes, they look good, but what does that mean? So again, we have done our due diligence. We've been in discussions with them. We first had contact with them back last summer, okay, many months ago. And we basically came to the agreement of, we're going to put things on hold. We're going to see how this goes. We don't want to be the early adopter. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, brands like AGM, we were the same way. The AGM was around for a good while. We just like to see how the market reacts and how they handle customer service and a lot of these things. So we started having discussions with Rick's here about a month ago, and serious discussions. We've had meetings. We've had face-to-face meetings. We've had FaceTime meetings. We've had phone calls. We've had emails. There's been a lot, and I do mean a lot, go into this, probably more than any other manufacturer that we've ever picked up. And we've had their scopes for several weeks now. Their 640s and their 384s. So we've been testing those. Hans and I both, our salesman Ashley, we've been using these in the field, putting them through the paces, doing the battery test, testing to see how the features work. And we've come to the point that we made an agreement with Rick's in Vegas at SHOT Show that, okay, I mean, after, again, another face-to-face meeting, after seeing them face-to-face, after seeing some of the newer optics that they've got coming, some things that we're, to be quite honest, probably won't sell all of those, but we still want to see them. We want to see what they're doing. We want to see even the less expensive stuff that, maybe is, kind of not where we're looking to go. I want to see it. What's it look like? What's the quality look like? So anyway, with all that said, we have made an agreement with Rick's. We will be picking their scopes up. We should have them, if not this week. You're watching this, which is basically going to be the first couple days of February when this show is released. If not this week, then by next week we should for sure. May already have them by the time this show's out. Don't know. We're trying to get all those logistics worked out. Our warehouse is very close to theirs, so shipping time's not going to be a big issue. But we are excited about it. And there's reason this is such a big deal. And I know there's some guys watching this going, okay, you picked up a new brand, what Walmart doesn't call me and put out a show when they picked up a new brand.
Right.
Correct. But we only carry about 5 brands of thermal optics. Okay. Yeah. And so when we add a new one, it's a huge deal. It is a very, 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 very big deal. If we were just in the business to sell the most thermals that we could, if that was it, we would pick up every single new brand that comes out. And there's guys, I know there's going to leave comments. Well, what about this brand? Did you see this brand? We did. The answer is yes. What name, insert brand name, we've probably seen it. We've probably looked at it, and we're saying no right now for a reason. So again, we're trying to bring you what we believe holds value.
Absolutely.
That's a quality optic, that's a quality brand, somebody that's going to, hopefully, we think from our research and dealing with them, we think is going to be able to provide you that customer service, honor that warranty, and be here long term. And right now, we believe that about Rick's, and we've seen the optics, and they're really good. Value for the dollar, they are very good. And we're going to be doing a review very soon. I think most likely, Hans, on their L3, their 384.
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna do the L3 384. I've got it right here. Jason, like I said, we've been messing with this thing with this one and the L6. They were nice enough to send these. Gosh, we've had them for a long time. I remember calling you, and when I first opened it up, I said, "Man, this feels nice. It doesn't feel like a cheap scope, and it's not a cheap scope, but it's one of the more less expensive. The L3 is in the budget family of thermal scopes." And when you get it out, when you kind of go through the buttons and the turrets which turn and all that, and it feels like a very high quality, nice scope. Look through it, everything looks good. Now, like Jason said, we're going to be doing a review in the next few weeks on the L3. That is their, and I don't want to say this, their least expensive, but the ones that we're looking at, it's
384 anyway.
Yeah, the 384. What's it, around $2,300 or so?
Yep.
Their L3. We're going to be doing a full review on that in the next few weeks. Now, and I guess we should have talked about this at the beginning of the show. If you want to know how this scope compares to other scopes on the market in that price range, we've all looked through it enough that and used this thing enough that we're ready to in the field, and we're ready to do a review. We're just trying to get all our video clips together. But if you want to know how it compares, I had it out last night looking at it next to some brand new releases in the same price range. I mean, I had them side by side on tripod. So if you want to know how it looks like or how it compares to something else that you might be looking for, or if you want to know if the Rick's is the right fit for you, give us a call, 877-350-1818. You can talk to myself, Ashley. We'd love to be able to help you, if not with just the Rick's scopes, but anything else. So if you want to buy a brand new optic, call us. That's what we're here for. And fresh off of seeing all the new stuff at SHOT Show as well, there's a lot of things to be excited about as far as what's coming out. But yes, we are very, very happy to pick up Rick's. I know there's been a lot of you that have called in. We've, had to kind of say, hey, we're waiting. Jason, we've been very honest about it. we said that to people that have called in, we said, that might be something that we pick up later on down the road. We're not ready to do that right now. We want to kind of meet with the company. We want to see what the product looks like, the customer service. And everybody has been very understanding with that. And not just understanding, but they're like, man, that's I agree with that. I would want to do that too. I'm
Well,
investing.
Rick's was that way with us.
They were not pushy. They weren't pushy at all. Yeah.
No, when I kind of, I won't say ended my conversation, but kind of ended it for the fall with them, I laid out our case. I said, guys, we don't want to be the guinea pigs. We want to see how you do. We want to see how you go through the busiest, 3 months of the year. We want to see how you do, see how the customer service works. I'm just being honest with you. Laid this case out, and what most companies will do there is they push back. And it's like, well, we're going to the busiest time. You want to pick us up. You don't want to go. and their reply was, man, we respect that. Yeah. And we understand that. And, we want to talk again after the first of the year, as soon as you're ready. And we think we're going to do great this fall. We want you to see that. And they did. I think they proved themselves to us. And to me, they gained some respect from me in the way they handled themselves there. And we're going to talk about this more on the review, but I'll say this about Rick's, and this is not Rick's fault at all. There's a lot of misinformation out there about the brand. There's a lot of people claiming a lot of things, and I think it's probably helped their sales. But I don't believe this is Rick saying these things. Okay, I think it's either dealers who are anxious to sell something, or end users who might be the first or second thermal scope they've ever looked through. Yeah, they're really good. They're a very good value for the dollar. And I'll say this, there's things about them that are very impressive. Fully removable 18650 batteries, very good runtime, very intuitive, easy to use menu system and turrets. And they've got some things going for them that I think, again, when you put them in the price ranges that they're at, they're going to hold their own and do very, very well. So probably, I'm kind of looking at my notes here, probably about 3 weeks or so, we plan on getting that review in for you. And I think y'all are going to be impressed with what you see. But as Hans said, in the meantime, if you're interested in one, we should have these things in stock any day. And we would love to talk to you about them. And again, how they compare to everything else and see what's right for you. So Rick's, welcome aboard the Late Night Vision Show and Outdoor Legacy train. We're glad to have you, and we're excited to start getting these reviews and seeing what all else they have coming down the pipeline for 2024. So that's the big news. I know we've spent a lot of time there, but again, guys, when you're as picky and choosy as we are, we only sell a few brands. It's a big deal to bring on.
It is. Yeah. There's people that have been calling. They're like, I'm not doing anything until I see your review on it, or I'm not doing anything until I see a review on X, Y, or Z scope, whatever it is. And so, yeah, we've been very methodical with this, and we're going to put together a good review for you, a very honest review. Because like Jason said, there's been some wild claims out there, and just like with any scope. I mean, you got guys out there that will say that their $2,000 scope is better than a $7,000 scope, and we got to weed through that. I know that if you're looking for an optic right now, it's because let's just face it, y'all. SHOT Show is over, and Jason and I are like, man, we've got a lot more scopes to not just review, but learn. I mean, when y'all call in, it's like, hey, what's the field of view of this? What's the magnification of this? We're like, holy cow, I've got to go home and study for the SAT. I mean, there's a lot to memorize, and for us to get in and do this. So we're trying to make sure that we're prepared really just for business and for people calling in so we can help you. But so let's just do this. Now, there's a lot of things that were announced that we talked about. If you haven't seen the shows, you need to go back and watch them. Last week, we released 3 interview shows with one with AGM, one with Pulsar, and one with Infrared Outdoor, where the representatives from each company talked about the releases that they did at SHOT Show. So if you didn't see that, you want to know the details, go check that out. We did if you want like the recap of SHOT Show, last Thursday we released our live from SHOT Show episode with Jason and I in the American Defense Manufacturing booth, where we did our show live from the show. But we talked about a lot of scopes, but we didn't have a chance to really talk a lot about delivery dates. Jason's going to run that down, but I also want to tease, think you kind of did, the L3 Rick's review in a few weeks. We're also very soon, even before the L3, we're going to be reviewing the AGM Rattler, the 384 resolution optics, the V2s. So we're going to be reviewing that. And probably one of the most anticipated scope releases, and the one that's really, besides Pulsar's big news, the 5-year warranty, the other huge news, the biggest buzz, is about the infrared outdoor hybrid 75. So we're going to be reviewing those and the L3 very soon. But Jason, let's talk a little bit. We know what's coming out. When can these folks expect to be able to pick one up?
So I want to say one thing real quick. This is a misconception that a lot of people have, and sometimes it bothers me just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and say, listen, a lot of times guys will say, hey, I'm interested in XYZ scope. Y'all have released some teaser videos on it, which we've already done for the V2 rattlers from AGM. We've done that for the hybrid. We've done that for the infrared finder. I mean, a lot of these optics we've already put out, short videos. Ashley did a lot of videos while we were in Vegas, last week. And so, but people will say, I don't want to buy it until I see your review. And I'm like, we're one phone call away and you can talk to us. You can pick that phone up, and if you're gonna looking to buy that scope from Outdoor Legacy, if it sounds like the scope for you, you bet, man, I want a scope. If that's the one, I'm gonna buy it, but I don't know for sure. Well, we would say call us even if you see the review, because we may talk to you and go, this is not the scope for you, or it's perfect for you. But we can give you the one-on-one review. We can say, here's already some footage you've already seen from it. Call us, talk to us. All three of us have used these optics in the field and can answer those questions for you. So I'll just say, don't wait 2 or 3 weeks or a month or some of the. Hans and I were doing a schedule. There's optics we're not going to get to for 8 to 10 weeks. You don't want to wait 3 months for a scope that we've already had for 45 days that we could review today. We just literally don't have enough weeks or enough time.
Yeah, and what you can't get from a review, watching a long form review like what we do, you get to see video. We run down the specs. We talk about what we like and what we don't like. But you're not going to get that. How is it compared to this? I've seen this scope. I've looked through this. How does it compare to that? So you're not going to get a lot of that just because there's so many scopes on the market to compare it to. But that's where you're going to learn a lot, because if you know in your brain, you're like, okay, I've seen through this scope before and it's somewhat similar as far as the specs. What's this scope I'm interested in going to look like compared to what I've already seen? And that's where that helps you figure out, oh, okay, well, I know how, I've got a reasonable expectation of what I'm going to get with the scope. But
and same thing with, at the end of the day, it still comes down to they're a tool, and you've got a certain situation, and we get this every day, and it's perfectly fine. It's what we're here for. We don't ever embarrass anybody, but it's, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is the scope that I want. And I'm like, oh, no. That's a left-handed baseball glove, and you're right-handed. That's not what you need. So that's what we're here for. So anyway, scope ETAs. The AGM Rattler V2s are in stock. If they're out of stock right now, it means because we've already sold out, and we've got more coming. We had these in stock on Tuesday, the first day they were announced at SHOT Show. They were able to get those to us on a couple days before the show, sitting there in the warehouse. So those are, again, in stock. If they're not, there's more coming. I can tell you that. The Clarion, that is going to be the unit with 2 different lenses in it. So you've got 2 different optical magnifications. I don't know what the term that AGM is using for that. They've got a term they kind of coined for it, but kind of like a dual field of view. Basically it's optical zoom with 2 different lenses. Really, really cool. They're going to have that in a 384 and a 640 version. We've already had those units, in our hands, been using them, but the final production units, getting in stock, gosh, I think they're telling us, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, maybe, somewhere in there. So I would say March, April at the latest. That's kind of what we're hearing right now, maybe sooner. Pulsar, they basically said on all of the new, well, the Thermion XG50 non LRF that's going to be coming in about $4,500, as well as the Telos, couldn't say the word. All the new Telos models, I think they're looking somewhere around, 1st of March on those.
Right.
So, again, maybe a month or so, maybe 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're shooting for right now. Infrared Outdoor, iRay USA, basically this week, if we don't have them in stock when you're watching this show on Thursday, then we should have them any day. They this week they told us everything was going to be shipping on the new stuff except the M6, which is the roof mounted or truck side by side mounted thermal. That's the pan tilt zoom 360 degrees. That unit is going to be several weeks out while they're finalizing some things on that. But we are taking pre-orders on that. All these other optics, including the hybrid, including the finder and the RH50R with the laser range finder for $5,500. All those units should be in stock this week, is what we're hearing. They said they're in their warehouse and they are preparing them to ship. As we mentioned, Rick's, the new brand, we're excited about having the L3 and the L6 in the house. And those, again, should be here any day. If they're not here now, they ought to be here within a couple days of this show. So everything's really close. Now, what this all means is I've never come home for a SHOT Show. This is about my, I don't know, 12th or 13th SHOT Show in a row to go to. And I can tell you in the last, 10, 11, 12 years dealing with the thermal manufacturers, what we've never seen, not once, is manufacturers announcing things that are either already in stock. Well, never seen that. Either already in stock or will legitimately, realistically be here in a month to a month and a half. And we're not, no one is expecting this, what it used to be of announce it in January. And if you're lucky, you'll see it in August or September. Realistically, it could be October, November, and some things never come. We're not expecting that on any of this stuff. And that's wild. That's new. I mean, it's extremely new just for the way the industry's always been. And then after fighting all the COVID supply chain battles when it got really out of hand and it was nobody's fault, this is crazy. So this is really, really good news. It's what we like to see. And I think what the manufacturers, this is the takeaway that we got from SHOT Show. And this was it. And this, some of you guys are going to love this. And I ain't going to lie to you. Some of you are going to hate it, but always is the fair warning. Don't say we didn't tell you. The manufacturers are to the point that they realize the long delays in getting things to the market. People don't like it. And people complain about it. They go, man, you announced this in January. Here it is. I've been waiting. It's May, it's June, it's July, it's August. Something crazy happens. They can't get it, man. It's like, whatever. Something changes. A supply chain issue, a part changes, and you can go the whole year and it never come. And here you've been wanting to go hunting, and you've waited and you've missed a season. You've missed a year, a literal year of hunting out of your life. And so they've heard those complaints. And so they're trying to announce things and have these optics ready right then or very, very, very shortly after. So what that does is it means we're going to see more announcements throughout the year of new product. I think I will not be surprised if every one of these companies just randomly pops something up on us, whether that's May or June, whether it's August or September or November or whenever. I think we're going to see more and more that we've already been seeing that the last couple of years. And I think COVID kind of did that when it's like, man, we could announce this in January, but we don't know when we can make it happen. Well, you get it ready in August. Well, do we just sit on this and not do anything with it for 5 months until January? That didn't make any sense. I mean, we got to bring it now. And so I think that's kind of where we're at. So I do think this is the bulk of what you're going to see for 2024 from the thermal companies, but I don't or I won't be surprised if we see random things popping up throughout the whole year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, it's a good thing though. I do think that's good, and the fact that I think people are more excited about the fact that they can hear about it and be able to buy it. You know, very soon afterwards, if not right away, but very soon afterwards. So. I do think that that's a positive thing, and I'm glad that they're starting to do that. And we've seen some successful scope launches because of it. And I know you and I like that. We're a big fan of that. So
Absolutely.
SHOT Show 24 is officially a wrap, Jason. We don't have to say the name anymore. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to make plans. We are back in the saddle. It is still the busy time of year. And, you know, if you're listening to this show right now, or if you're watching this show, there's a good chance that you have seen prior shows. So you probably know how bad it's been from the very beginning. But this is episode 300. And if this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you. Jason and I have been doing this for, 5 or 6 years now, since 2017.
Whatever 300 divided
300,
by 52 is. So
it is 300 episodes in a row. We tell a lot of people 300 in a row without missing a week.
That's almost 5.8 years. So basically almost 6 years. Yeah, 300 episodes in a row. What Hans said, we're bragging about this, and we're going to brag on it. We know we're going to break this streak at some point. It's going to happen. All streaks must come to an end. But
I was thinking the other night, I was like, man, you know what? We need to have some like emergency shows in the can, like just that we let sit. It's a great idea, but you let it sit there in case like, Hans broke his ankle in a hole when he was out like trying to, go get a hog or something, but
yeah, 300 Thursdays in a row through sickness and in health, through COVID, through quarantine, through
tiredness, bad moods,
all being sick, jet lagged, kids sick, wives sick, lights being out. I mean, we've had some crazy things. And I want to say this too, and this is the credit that Hans deserves. Hans has edited every single one of these shows, all 300, and we'd have to go back. I'm not going to right now. We could go back and count how many other episodes. All of the SHOT Show breaking news, all of the 2-minute Tuesdays that we've done, in the last year, all of the breaking news, the product announcements, the manufacturer interviews and things that we've done outside of a regular numbered episode, which every one of that, every single Thursday for 300 weeks, but we've had so many more. I don't even know how many of those other shows there is, but Hans has edited every single one of those and done a fantastic job. He gets better at it all the time. He's always trying to add things and include things. And, he's fought through poor internet and
that's the word.
Lights being out. And even in Vegas, we're literally, and this is, again, not his fault, we're trying on Wednesday night to go to supper because the show has to be live Friday morning, and we've been at the SHOT Show all day. We're wore out. We're tired. Hans comes back, sits down, does absolutely. I mean, the minute he sits down, he starts editing this show. He's already been working on it Tuesday evening, and he's trying to start uploading this thing, and he's having trouble with the Wi-Fi in the hotel. It's going slow. It gets uploaded. There's a problem. It's corrupted. He's got to start. It's a disaster, and it's not his fault. It just is what it is. But all of those things. So I want to say thank you to Hans because he's the guy who makes it happen. All I have to do is show up here, look ugly, and talk a whole lot for about, 30, 40 minutes every week. And I'm really good at all of that. So, I think he deserves the credit. It's somewhere along the way, Hans, I don't know if I did it or he did it. Somehow the term executive producer came up, which was a giant mistake because he took that title and he ran with it. I think he got a plaque for his desk made. He got business cards made. But the one thing that I do know is that as long as he's claiming that title, that means
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything. So it's
Well,
not all bad, you
I'm
know.
I'm only giving myself that title because when the Joe Rogan podcast calls and they need a new executive producer, I already have like many years of experience. So
Now I know what
it
it
just
is.
goes on the
Yeah,
resume. It's for the
it's
resume
on
builder.
the
You
resume.
know, we are the Late Night Vision show has always been about breaking news in thermal and night vision. It's always been about night hunting in general, hogs, predators, varmints, whatever you do. It's been a lot of information. We deliver a lot of information. Hopefully, what you see as this show is a place where the industry comes to break news. I mean, whether it be the manufacturers, any of our partners that we work with, news scopes, we just talk about it all year. At everything here. Now, I want to shift gears a little bit because there have been a lot of people that have called in. I mean, literally, that have called our office just to check on me to see if I'm sick or if I'm okay. Lots of
True.
comments, lots of emails. Is Hans okay? He looks sick? He's lost a lot of weight. What's going on? So this segment to celebrate our 300th episode, the segment is called "Is Hans Gonna Live to See?" Episode 400, and we're gonna take a kind of a funny look back at some of the pictures of Jason and I just to see who's changed
Well,
the
you,
most.
you
What we
haven't
used.
answered the question.
Well,
Are you
okay.
sick?
So the question is, I hope not. No. So and you'll
As
see
far
the
as you
pictures.
know.
I've lost quite a bit of weight. And it was just purely from exercising and eating better and eating healthier. I realized that I was too young to be as old as my body was. So I just decided to do something about it. And 2 years ago, around the time about episode 200, I started running and working out a lot, mostly running. And I got to where I never liked it before, but I do enjoy it now. But I just started losing weight, and it's been 2 years. Episode 400, I might weigh more than I did before. I don't know. I mean, this thing could turn sideways at any possible moment. I get into situations where I can still go bury a whole bag of chips, and do it without even blinking an eye. But I want to show some pictures. But no, thank y'all for asking. I'm not sick that I know. I feel like I'm healthier than I've ever been, but it's been a lot of exercise. Now, I do look older. I'm looking through these pictures. I'll show them. Listen, I'm gonna put up one of
Oh
them up on the
gosh.
screen. Okay,
Uh,
go
Hans
ahead.
sent me these photos over, and I said,
Yeah, you didn't.
no.
Yeah,
I
so
said, no, this is like terrible.
here
and he's like,
is
no, that's just what you look like. So
yeah.
I was like,
Here's I'll put mine up and then I'll put your. We'll do this in chronological order. So this is our very first episode where we started recording ourselves. So I think it was episode 4. We did 3 where we did audio only, but so I think this is like episode 4 of the Late Night Vision show. This is me, and this is when I just recorded in our office. You can see I've got a pegboard behind me, guitar. That I pretended to play there in my younger life. I had just a very not very good mic there, that was recording this. But look at that face, y'all. Man, that face just screams double cheeseburger. If it doesn't, I don't know what. I mean, and I can talk about it now, my face was so fat that when I laughed, my eyes had nothing to do but close. I mean, you couldn't keep them open if I was laughing or smiling. I mean, my eyes were going to shut. So all of that all the cheeks, everything just had to go upwards. And that is definitely a lot of double cheeseburgers right there. So I'm going to put a picture of Jason up. And so here's Jason. Episode 4, this is the very same episode, very first one we started recording.
That's my old outdoor legacy.
Old Outdoor Legacy shirt.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, you look young. Now, to me,
I do.
you look young. This almost looks like somebody's like, oh, look, it's second grade yearbook picture. I mean, that looks like a yearbook picture. But to me, you look like your face symmetry and all that to me looks almost the same, but you just look young. I don't know.
Funny.
Now let's look at episode 100. So this is 2 years after the first pictures you saw. So this is me again, and you see I'm in a different office and got a nicer mic, nicer setup, but the face is still pretty round. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I do have a little bit of that double chin action going on. and the eyes are still squinting while I'm smiling. I don't know, man. It's not much has changed. Now I will say I was about 235 pounds there. I'm 185 right now, so I've lost quite a bit of weight. But 235, I mean, I was big, but I don't know. I'm also pretty tall, so I guess I could hide it somewhat well. But I think people could tell that by now that I've lost quite a bit of weight. So still kind of big, but happy and healthy, pounding them French fries and everything. Uh, Jason, episode 100. I'm going to tell you, I'm putting that up right now. You look exactly the same. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and put up your episode 200 because at the same time, you're wearing the same exact shirt in episode.
I think I'm wearing the same shirt today. So,
oh, great.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what we're seeing here is in every one of these, I'm wearing an Outdoor Legacy shirt. And Hans is not. Somebody's over here trying to sell scopes on today. And somebody,
So your episode 200, episode 100, 2 years apart, and your episode 300 today's, you probably look exactly the same. I mean, of the two of us, you've definitely aged way better than I have.
I'll say this. I don't know about that, but I have definitely grayed. I keep my hair very short, as most of y'all probably see. My wife is a hairdresser, so she cuts my hair once a week, and I keep it high and tight. I keep my goatee as short as I can, and it is really gray. It is getting very gray, but thankfully, and it's not because of any great workout routine. I wish I could say that I ran like Hans, but I have not gained any weight. If my face is fatter or my belly's fatter, it's just because it's moving around. I don't know, but yeah,
you get out there and work them cows though, and you're an active person. So when I was doing this, I was working another job at the same time and on the road all the time, and just sitting and not doing nothing. So my episode 200 picture, to me, it looks better. Like I look a little bit better, but I think it's because I had better lighting and a better camera. Honestly, I think it has nothing to do with me personally. Now, yes, I have grayed a lot, and there's a lot of people out there, but that's y'all. That's our episode 200 pictures. Look a little bit better, but the camera is kind of hiding a little bit that. But wanted to do all this to thank all of y'all for wondering and caring about me. It feels nice that people actually took time to like call the office just to see, asking the girls, hey, is Hans okay? And after a while, my wife Crystal, we were talking about it, I'm like, man, I hope I am okay. Like so many people have asked, I'm like, man, maybe something is wrong with me. I don't know, but I feel healthier, and I do appreciate all of y'all asking. That means a lot. That anybody cares enough to even ask, to tell you the truth. It feels weird, Jason, when you go to the SHOT Show this year. I've definitely noticed a difference in the fact of how many people know about the show. Didn't you notice that? Just how many people and it's not just y'all out there watching, the guys that are just like to night hunt or do this for hobby. I'm talking about people in the industry that are watching this show all over the world.
We're very blessed.
Yeah, and all over the world, not just in Texas or Illinois or whatever state in the United States. I mean, all over the world, the people that are watching this show. It's kind of crazy.
It is, and we have a good time doing it. And I know one of the big complaints. It's a big complaint from some of you that have been listening from day one, and some of you that surfed on here today is, gosh, do these guys ever shut up? All they do is they just talk, and and here's our thing. We get it. We'll be honest. We might not even watch this show if we weren't,
if I wasn't editing it every week. Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but we wanted this show to be different than the show where, and we may even do shows like this. Okay. So I'm not down on the guys who do. Get on there and read the specs in 30 seconds as quick as they can and say, this is what it'll do, this is what it won't do, show some videos, and it's over in 5 minutes. That show has a place. It actually does. I mean, we talk all the time. Wish we could make ours shorter. Man, if we could hit that, and some of these videos like, Ashley just put out, on the Outdoor Legacy channel last week that are hitting that, 8-minute mark. Man, that's fantastic. A lot of people love that. Yeah. But we're doing something different on this show. Mm-hmm. We're trying to give somebody, two guys' opinions that have seen basically every scope that's on the market and are not this rushed job. And so again, I get it. You know, it's 45 minutes of my life I'll never get back. You know, I don't have time for
Yeah,
that. And we get that. But we're trying to offer something different that, you know, we think a lot of people do want.
that's one thing. That's probably if we ever had somebody complain or it's like, man, y'all take too long, or y'all talk too long. You know, that's just been the show. And you know, this is a podcast. This is not just an infomercial or review channel or whatever. This is a podcast. We designed it when we started the show on day one as a podcast. And if you look at other shows, other successful shows, and not that we're on the level of anybody else, but you look at them, Jason, they're like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, these are long shows, and our goal has always been around 45 minutes. Now we're pushing that right now, but you know, 45 minutes has always been our goal to do a show in that amount of time. We felt like, you know, it wasn't too long, but we were going to be able to have enough time to deliver information. Jason and I like to talk. We're good at it. We do, you know, we can talk 45 minutes and blink. Yeah. We can talk for 45 minutes and it feels like 5 minutes to us. And you're like, oh, how are you going to cram all this in? But that's one thing that I don't want to say we've ignored, but if somebody complains about that, we understand. Everybody wants short reviews, short information. And that's why we have, you know, the Outdoor Legacy YouTube channel. That's why we have the Hans ETX YouTube channel. Ashley's doing, you know, on Row ETX, short form reviews, direct information, not a lot of, you know, back and forth comparison talk, all that kind of stuff. But the podcast has always been about the podcast. And so when people said, oh, y'all take too long, and, you know, we've just said, yeah, you're probably right, but that's just the show. That's just the format. You know, we don't want to have one show one week that's 10 minutes long, and then the next week it's an hour long. You know, everybody should have a good expectation as far as this show every week. It should be, you know, released consistently, and that's what we've chosen to do every Thursday. And the time frame, hey, it's 45 minutes. So you know what you're going to get. And I think that's a little bit of the consistency has been a big part of our success. And we definitely owe all of that to y'all out there, because we don't really think we're really that good at what we do. We just have access to the scopes and we enjoy night hunting. And,
we do. I think you said something right there. We enjoy it. If we didn't enjoy doing this, we wouldn't do it. We couldn't do it. You can't do something 300 weeks in a row for 45 minutes and, you know, if you don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just hate it, it's going to come through. It's going to show. And there's no question. There's probably been some shows you watched and went, man, those guys were not into it this week, or those guys probably shouldn't have.
I felt like
tired,
that.
we were tired, or
Yeah.
we were, you know, whatever. Didn't sleep the night before, or we're too busy, or we're
poison ivy all over my face,
or
when I had COVID or something. You know, it's man, I want to be anywhere but here sometimes. But yeah,
and that's the way it goes.
You got to fight through that kind of stuff.
But at the end of the day, guys, I mean, we wouldn't be here without y'all. If y'all weren't watching, if y'all weren't subscribing, liking, commenting, you know, talking to the manufacturers about us. That's something that we hear a lot, is these manufacturers will go set up at gun shows and things, and how many of them tell us, hey, man, gosh, we were at the show and we had just 10 guys come up and say, I want to see this. I heard about it on that late night vision show, you know? Yeah. And so, you know, that helps us. They're going, oh gosh, you know? And so we appreciate y'all. Without y'all, that we're just two East Texas country boys sitting here talking every week and talking to ourselves. And we're going to do that anyway. So we don't have to record it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so the show would not exist without one company. Well, several, but one in particular, the Outdoor Legacy. That's Jason and I. That's our full-time job. Yep. We do this. We produce the podcast to help get the word out about scopes, and that we hope that you see enough and think enough about us that you call in to speak with one of us about a scope, and you ultimately buy that optic from Outdoor Legacy. That's how we benefit. You know, we're not monetizing these YouTube videos to make money or anything. We haven't done that. It is all based on you calling Outdoor Legacy and buying a scope from us. So if you're looking to purchase something, brand new night vision or thermal optic, we would love your business. We'd love to earn your business. And you can do that, 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacygear.com. When you call in, there's so many people that are like, oh man, I can't believe I'm talking to Hans, or, hey, Ashley, they talk about you all the time on the show. I can't believe I'm getting to talk to you. So yeah, you're talking to one of us. And that's what we pride ourselves on, is that before the purchase advice of helping you decide on what you need. Now, like I mentioned before, if you want to see some short form reviews, Outdoor Legacy YouTube channel, Hans ETX YouTube channel, Row ETX YouTube channel. You can find it all there. You can find us all over social media. I can sit here and run them all down, but Facebook, Instagram, all the podcast sharing apps, audio only apps, you can find us there. The Late Night Vision Show, thelatenightvision.show.com. Go find us. But thank y'all for pushing it to the end. Not the end, hopefully not the end, but 300 episodes. There's a lot of you that have said that y'all have been watching since the very beginning. And man, that just, it's very humbling, but we definitely appreciate it.
Yep. Thank y'all guys listening. We talked about rambling and going along. This is probably going to be one of our longest episodes. But that's okay. Hey, the good thing about YouTube and these podcast apps, that I don't think I'm supposed to tell you this, but you can reach over there with that little slider and you can move it around. It's fast forward and it's free. So there's no commercials, and you just fast forward to wherever you want.
I think everybody stopped listening after we talked about delivery dates of scopes and stuff.
I think so. I think it's just me and you here.
Yeah.
Just me and you. Now it's guys, we appreciate you. Hope to see you here for episode 301. Good Lord willing, we will be here for, who knows, another 100 episodes, another 300. We don't know. We'll be here as long as y'all keep buying thermal scopes from Outdoor Legacy, and as long as the Lord allows us, we will be doing this. So we appreciate y'all. Hope to see you next week. This is episode 300 in the can. 301 coming up again. It's the AGM Rattler V2 384, both the TS25 and the TS35. We're going to wrap those into one review, and those will be next Thursday. Hope to see y'all between now and then. Y'all stay safe.